Hello, I'm Bolaka Basu. I'm founder of Interstitial Cystitis India, and today I'm here to talk about how I manage work and IC. This is a question I get very often. People ask me that how do you manage your work, your home, and IC? So I thought I'll just share my experience, but definitely not everyone's experience is same. So this one is entirely my personal experience. We all go to work at various places. Some of us work from offices, some of us are doctors, engineers, lawyers. So we work in different conditions. Some of us work in an office, sitting 9 hours with a laptop. Some of us has to move around. Some of us has to work under the sun, in hot sun, whatever. So definitely the coping mechanism will be very different depending on where you're working and also on the stress level that you take. So in my case, I used to work from office, but now post pandemic I work from home. I have turned my home into office. But more or less, even when I used to work from office and even now, I spend around 9 hours sitting in one place. So sitting in one place can flare you up. That used to flare me up also very often. So there are few things that I maintain. Like when I used to go to office, so I used to make sure that I carry a small pillow with me. So I used to keep that pillow with me just to give some support, some comfort to my pelvic floor because we all know that pelvic floor can flare up. Any discomfort in the pelvic floor can actually flare up your IC. So I used to keep a small soft pillow that used to support my pelvic floor. I used to keep myself hydrated because in my case I have seen that whenever I get dehydrated, my IC flares up very badly. But I also don't drink too much water because even if I drink too much water and my bladder becomes very full, that also causes discomfort. So what I do is I keep sipping water little bit throughout the day. Not I never drink one full glass of water at one go. So I used to keep sipping water throughout the day. Even when I used to be in meetings or I was in a call or whatever, I used to keep sipping water. That is one thing I used to do. I always carried home cooked food. I always avoided eating outside, but that is not always possible for everybody. I know there are problems for many people to actually carry home cooked food for various reasons, but in my case, I was fortunate that I used to carry home cooked food, very bland food. I used to not eat in the office cafeteria. I used to, after if I sat for 40 minutes, I used to take a short break. Ideally, I take breaks because I have to go to the loo more frequently than others. So, anyways, that used to give me a break. But still, I used to consciously take breaks every 40 minutes, every 45 minutes. Because if I sit in one place for a very long time, that actually makes my condition very worse. Another thing that I started doing after I was diagnosed with IC is wearing loose clothes because I have seen that in my case, clothes also affect my symptoms. So if I wear a tight jeans for 9 hours, it actually puts pressure on my pelvic floor and it makes my IC very, it deteriorates my condition. So I started wearing very flowy clothes, so skirts, palazzos, sari. I love wearing sari, so I used to also wear sari. So I kept my clothing very flowy and loose and mostly cotton. I have changed my undergarments also. I only use cotton undergarments, and that is something I suggest to every IC patient that clothing is also important. This is something not many talk about, but you will see if you even observe yourself, you'll see that your clothing also impacts your IC. So try to wear loose clothes. And IC also varies. It fluctuates with weather also. So during winter, some people flare during winter, some people flare during summer. For me, it's usually the change of season when it is going from summer to winter. That is when I get flare. Maybe not in peak summer or peak winter, but it's always those seasons when they are just going from one to the other. So those are the times I always used to be very conscious. I carried my medicines. As you all know, that I am a huge fan of baking soda. So in my bag, you will always find baking soda. I used to carry it whenever I felt like really my burning or my discomfort was increasing. Even in office, I used to take baking soda. Another thing is commute time. I always used to, you know it used to take me around 1 hour to reach my office, but I used to always leave 1.5 hours earlier from home. I used to always keep that half an hour extra, because I know stress and too much of chaos makes me very overwhelmed, and that actually ends up flaring me up. So I always kept time. Even in work, I know that at work it's very difficult to control stress. But for that, I always used to, I used to be little over organized, I would say. I always used to try to finish work little before, so that my stress levels are little less. So that is one thing I used to do. And of course, I kept a positive attitude. I never really wanted my disease to, make me so weak that i I just stopped living. So that attitude, I think, also helped me. And I would request all of you also to have that can do attitude. It helps. And the last but not the least is that always have a discussion with your HR or with your immediate reporting manager or whoever is there in your office. They should know about your condition, so that y- in India we tried for disability card and all those things, but they'll take time. But at least have a conversation in your office, but have it very diplomatically, so that it doesn't become your weak point for your company to think that this person is a chronic patient, so we need to you know how it happens. So don't do that. But also it is important that they know your condition. So tell them that if you have to attend a 4 hour long meeting, so they should know that you will need more frequent breaks for you have to go to urinate or whatever. So you need those breaks. So those things your HR or your reporting manager should know. And even your colleagues, take support from your colleagues, your teammates, your peers, whoever. So, with all these things, I think managing IC at workplace becomes easier. But if you need to discuss this more, like if you have anything to add to this, or if there is something that you do at your workplace, or you need some help on how to manage at your workplace, feel free to contact us. Just get in touch with me. I'm always there to help you. So this is more or less that I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope it becomes easier for you at your workplace. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening to this. Thank you very much.